Greetings, folks. Sealer here. Today's replay is courtesy of the Disturbed One, who was featured a couple of weeks ago in another replay called Lenin Defends Alone, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. And in this match, Disturbed is sailing the premium Tier 5 Japanese destroyer Kamikaze, and this match has some very impressive results. This is a Tier 7 domination match on Neighbors. There are no aircraft carriers, and Disturbed is a division with one of his clanmates, Rascal29 in the Furutaka. Disturbed is using the commander from his Haragumo, thus the presence of BFT and AFT, but most notably he is using the Torpedo Tubes Modification 1 upgrade in slot 3. This is one of the new upgrades that was introduced this year, and among other things, it increases torpedo speeds by 5%, turning the 68-knot torpedoes on the Kamikaze into 71.5-knot torpedoes, which is very fast, even by Tier 10 standards. Now, Disturbed is going to secure Bravo here for his team, and the Allies are going to get Alpha, although the Gnevny is going to jump into that cap as soon as the Allies get it. The opponents have gotten Charlie, and with an Allied Vesteros on the south end of Charlie, he should be able to keep that flank spotted, so the Allies aren't surprised by any forces moving through that side of the map. Now, Disturbed has moved out into the middle of the cap to spot an Emerald, but also has lit up a Skona, which has just sent his torpedoes. The new European destroyers, including the Skona at Tier 7, tend to have torpedoes that are very quick loading, or relatively quick reloading. They have low alpha, but they're very quick, and so they can be quite hard to avoid, as unfortunately this poor Emerald's going to not avoid one of Disturbed's torpedoes. This Allied Allied Gneisenau is basically just plowing right into the cap and is going to get taken out, giving the opponent's first blood. Now, the European destroyers do not have smoke, so this Skona that's in the middle of Bravo is going to remain detected, and he is just going to get focused out here quite quickly, and that's actually going to work significantly to Disturbed's advantage, because once this destroyer is down, any sort of center map spotting that the opponents really need is going to be denied. And here we see some more torpedoes coming in from the Skona. And that's going to give Disturbed free reign in the middle of the map, where he's going to operate for most or all of the battle. And like I said, he's going to rack up some pretty impressive numbers. Now, this is a Tier 7 match, so I don't consider this straight up seal clubbing. We would hope that at least some of the players would be aware enough that they're dealing with a very powerful torpedo destroyer in their midst, and that they should be trying to position or leverage, let's say, for example, the Gnevny now that was at Alpha, to try to detect and drive off Disturbed in the Kamikaze, but that's frankly not going to happen, as Disturbed is going to land all 4 of these torpedoes on the Gneisenau. Not going to sink them, but do obviously majority of the damage to the ship. And then Disturbed is moving over here to the north side of Alpha, where he's going to put torpedoes on the West Virginia that's just about to beach. And that's actually going to give him his first kill. I should note here that we're not even 6 minutes into the match. Disturbed is already up to 55,000 in damage. And with these torpedoes that he's sending now, which will sink the West Virginia, that's going to put him over at over 100,000 damage. And like I said, and that's in less than 6 minutes into the match. Now, both teams are even in terms of their ship count. Although with the West Virginia, the Allies are going to get a 1-ship advantage here in just a moment. And the Allies also have the advantage that they have a much better control over Alpha and Bravo. My regular viewers know, and there goes the West Virginia. My regular viewers know that on Neighbors, I much prefer an Alpha and Bravo strategy. It's much easier generally to get center map control over Bravo from Alpha than it is from Charlie. Charlie tends to be kind of this sort of trap of islands. But if the opponents can successfully push through the Charlie cap, they can get some control over the mid, but that's not going to happen until quite late in the battle. There continues to be an exchange of ships here with the Allies and the opponents both losing another ship after the West Virginia went down. Some more torpedoes going out here on the Dallas. And again, we're going to see some cases here where bug in the replay where the targeting of the torpedo isn't going to line up with what uh, with whom the Disturbed is actually, or against whom the Disturbed is sending the torpedoes. There, he does get 2 torpedoes on the Dallas. Doesn't quite take the Dallas out, but removes most of his health. Again, he's up over 124,000 in damage now. The things are going quite swimmingly as he gets a final torpedo on the Dallas to finish him off and claim his second kill for the game. Now we have a King George. Now again, this is a tier 7 ship. Hopefully, this player would be more aware that there is a very powerful torpedo boat in his midst, and he shouldn't be sort of hanging around in the open like this, slow boating, and kind of making himself an easy target. He is throttling, which is okay, but Disturbed is, I think, reasonably predicting his movements and sort of spreading his sends out. In fact, now we're not even 8 minutes into the battle, and Disturbed has already racked up high caliber. So up to almost 140,000 damage. He's going to land a couple more torpedoes here. I don't remember if he gets any more after that on the King George. No, he doesn't. They run out, but he is sending more torpedoes against the King George. Now, ideally, the Gnevny that we can see at Echo 3 should be moving closer and trying to spot Disturbed so that at least he can drive Disturbed off. Now, there is a allied Gajamada behind Disturbed here at his 5 o'clock position that is a quite good gunboat as a destroyer, and so would be able to defend Disturbed if the Gnevny were to close in, but that's not going to end up happening. I don't remember if he gets any more torpedoes here. No, it doesn't look like he does. And so Disturbed's going to move more back towards the north and northwest to try to keep these 3 ships pushed off. Now, the Allies have now lost a couple of ships in quick succession, and then the opponents lose another ship. So again, there's a lot of ship loss very quickly here as the game is moving along. Now, one other observation I should make here, not related to this specific game, Disturbed is part of the Axe clan, and I featured another replay from another member of Axe, which was from Gate Camper, who played the Tier 10 Japanese aircraft carrier Hakuryu, and I'll leave a link to that player's replay in the description below for you to check out. So some torpedoes here of both directions in anticipation that maybe some of the opponents are going to push through either from the north side of Bravo or try to press in on the east side here toward Disturbed, but it doesn't look like that's going to quite happen here. Disturbed's going to come out here and look to back up the Gajamada and get the Gnevny off the flank, because again, the Gnevny should have the means to be able to drive off Disturbed, but again, with the Gajamada backing him up, this is going to be relatively straightforward. We do see some torpedoes from the Gnevny. They're not really a threat because they're only 4 kilometers, so long as you keep your distance. But they too are actually very fast. I believe they're 70 knots. And so while the Gnevny is not really a torpedo boat, those torpedoes are very good in close ambush situations. They basically are almost unavoidable due to their speed. Now, looking at the overall tactical situations, things have kind of starting to even up here between the teams. The ship counts are now even. The opponents have moved into Bravo, although now the Gnevny's just been taken down, so the Allies have gotten back a 1-ship advantage. And the opponents have moved into Bravo. Now, one thing that I thought was kind of interesting here was the choice of Disturbed and his ally Gajamada to pursue this ARP Hiei basically to the edge of the map as he gets a couple more 3 more torpedoes and earns himself Confederate. So I thought it was kind of interesting that he elected to pursue the battleship here this far, because he is going to have to get turned around and go back and try to defend Bravo as he takes a couple of shells. He's gotten within detection range of the Hiei, and it's going to peel away here. I think this other set of torpedoes that have just gone out are going to finish off the Hiei and give him his 3rd kill. I should note here he's already almost up to 200,000 in damage. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the match, this has some very impressive damage results. Yes, the Kamikaze is overpowered for its tier. Um, Exploiting that capability is largely a capability of the commander, but also awareness of the players. And this, again, this not being like a tier 4, tier 5 match, I don't really consider this necessarily seal clubbing, but I think the argument could be made. Now, I did accelerate the replay there for for a few seconds here because not a whole lot happened after the Hiei was taken down. But now we can see that the Allied König, is taking a pile of torpedoes from the opposing Kamikaze, and that's keeping things kind of interesting here. So the Allies have no battleships. The opponents have the one battleship and the Kamikaze. And Disturb's going to smoke up here. He's sent one set of torpedoes. He's just barely gotten into detection range of the, I think this is a Congo. That set of torpedoes that's going out are going to miss. But here we're going to see what is effectively a textbook perfect torpedo drive-by execution by Disturbed. Now, what he's going to do is he's in smoke, obviously in concealment. He's going to wait for the Congo to fire his guns. His torpedoes will come off and be ready to fire here in just a few seconds. And as soon as the battleship fires, he accelerates. And now he's going to close the distance. He's already within 3 kilometers, so there's no way that the battleship is going to be able to get off another salvo before Disturbed is able to come in here for point-blank drive-by and take out the Congo, claiming his 4th kill for the game and getting him up to 231,000 in damage. The only opponent left now is the opposing Kamikaze. So between himself, the Gajimata, and his allied Furutaka, they're going to take down this Kamikaze pretty quickly. But the only question is going to be whether Disturb is going to get his Kraken Unleashed on top of his other achievements. And the answer is yes, it is. So very impressive outing. 236,000 in damage, 2 devastating strikes, Kraken Unleashed, High Caliber, and Confederate. At the time that Disturbed sent this to me, he said that this was possibly the 3rd highest damage in the Kamikaze on North America to date. So very impressive outing. So I hope everybody enjoyed the replay and the commentary. Thank you, Disturbed, for sending this in. It was an honor to host it. And with that, we hope to see you out there on the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.